One would master the arts of taekwondo, wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai in order to become the Last Stylebender. What's up, YouTube fight fans? This is the Pro Fight Fan, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you're a fight fan and you enjoy discussing all things fighting, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and that notification bell. Today we're going to discuss 10 things that you may or you may not know about the UFC Middleweight Champion of the world, Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya. Did I say that right? Adesanya. And we're going to go ahead and start right now. Number 1, Lagos, Nigeria. On July 22nd, 1989, this is where the champ was born. He's actually the second UFC champion to have been born in Nigeria. Do you know who the first is?
Who?
That's right, none other than the UFC welterweight champion of the world, Kamaru the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. If his nickname doesn't give it away, I don't know what will. Number 2, we know him by Israel Adesanya. But did you know that's not his full name? In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Izzy goes on to talk about how after receiving his Christian name, Israel, his family would go on to wait 7 days to begin to identify character traits in order for the family to have a naming ceremony with key members of the family where he would receive his full name. Israel. Mobalaji, Tematayo, Odunayo, Oluwafeni, Owalabi, Adesanya. Woo! Number 4. At the age of 10, Israel and his family moved to New Zealand. And for the first time, Izzy was bullied because of his skin color. In interviews nowadays, he goes on to speak about how this would play a key role in his fire to fight. Number 5. Looking at the career Adesanya is having, one would think that he picked up martial arts his entire childhood. But no, sir. After his parents removed him from Taekwondo at the age of 8, Izzy wouldn't go on to train again until he was 18 years old. After watching Ong Bak, Israel began to train in kickboxing. He would go on to tell his parents that instead of furthering his education, he wanted to become a fighter. And yeah, they weren't too happy, but finally they came around and gave him their blessing. Number 6, at the age of 21, Israel would go on to move to Auckland, New Zealand, where he would begin training at City Kickboxing under the tutelage of Eugene Behrman. You may not know him by that picture. This is what he looks like now. You may also know these faces. And yeah, they also train at City Kickboxing. So you know what they say, iron sharpens iron, and they must be doing something right. Number 7, some people may wonder how this guy has gone on to take the UFC by storm so quickly. His experience before entering the UFC was, shall we say, quite extensive. As an amateur kickboxer, Izzy would go on to win 32 fights with 0 losses. As a professional kickboxer, he would win championships in multiple weight classes. Maybe a sign of things to come, eh? While amassing a record of 75-5. In an interview with Joe Rogan, he also revealed that he had a boxing record of 6-1. That's 119 fights, not including the 11 professional MMA fights that he had before he entered the UFC, which he won all of them by stoppage. This kid is no joke. Number 8. It is said that Israel predicted his rise in the UFC many years prior to making his debut. If you scroll through his Instagram, and this may take you a while because he's very active on his social media, back on June 1st, 2012, you'll find this post. Now, one could say that this is more like a goal or a dream, or maybe he was caught in the act of blinking. Anyway, then in 2015, Izzy would go on to say the following.
What's your main goal in fighting?
I want to be the champion of the UFC.
Now, I would say that's another goal. But here's the promise he delivered on.
In the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to turn this A into a U, I
He
promise.
certainly called his shot, and he has delivered on that promise. Number 9. A few other things one can learn from Izzy's social media. 1, he likes memes quite a bit. 2, he likes to dance. But one would also learn that Adesanya has quite the admiration for Anderson Silva. You can see that Silva is considered the GOAT in Adesanya's mind, but also how inspiring he was to him. He has stated on multiple occasions how upon discovering Silva's dominance as a tall, skinny fighter would motivate him, being that he had a similar build and a similar skill set. Something interesting to note, he also publicly picked Anthony Rumble Johnson to beat John Jones in their scheduled UFC 187 bout, which we all know never happened because of, well, we'll just leave that at that. And number 10, it seems like Israel Adesanya has been fighting in the UFC for quite a while. But the truth is, he's only been fighting in the UFC for a little over 2 years. Izzy's first fight in the UFC was on February 10th, 2018, where he beat Rob Wilkinson by second round stoppage. Then he beat Marvin Vettori by split decision, Brad Tavares by unanimous decision, Derek Brunson by first round stoppage, and his MMA inspiration, Anderson Silva, by unanimous decision, all in the span of 12 months. By month number 14, Izzy was fighting for a piece of the UFC gold, where he would fight against Kelvin Gastelum for the interim UFC middleweight title, in what turned out to be an absolute barn burner, where he would win a unanimous decision. Bro, that's just an insane schedule. His next fight, in just a few weeks, on September 26th, Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya is gonna be fighting Paulo Borrachinha Costa for the UFC Middleweight title of the world. I do believe that this can easily be one of those fights that reminds us all why we are fight fans. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.